My name is Sean Allen, representing Pirate Griffith Studios, coming out of Philly, originally West Indies, Barbados. Gotta give a shout out for that. Right, I'm here at the 2013 New York Comic Con in the Wizard New York Con. I have here the Street Team comic book. Me, four of the guys, we took our own independent characters, combined in form one team. With the love of the concept, we were contacted by an independent video game producer by the name of Samuel. And he said that he loved the idea, he wanted to do a video game. So we came together, made it happen. Based off of that, we knew that we needed some literature to tie everything together, so we came out with the first issue of the Street Team comic book. It's a vigilante martial arts type of story, superhero type of story. I'm a fan of street level heroes, and we wanted people that you could almost relate to. I love Thor and the cosmic guys and stuff, but we wanted those street level heroes. So based off of that, the video game and the comic book, we were just contacted by an independent film producer by the name of R.L. Scott. He's a writer-director. We're going to do a live-action movie based off the Street Team game. We were contacted by the independent video game producer by the name of Samuel, who wanted to work with us, and we sat down and created a video game to go with the comic book. Based off of that, we put out the first issue of the comic book, and we were contacted by an independent director by the name of R.L. Scott, who's a writer, director, producer, and we are in the process of making a live-action Street Team movie. Can't go into the details of it, of course, everything's starting off right now, but it's definitely, for something that started off as a joke, we didn't think it would get this far. It's an amazing journey. The story takes place in the fictional city of Bridgeport. And one of the things that I always love is I always want to see what happens next. So at the end of this 4-issue miniseries, we're going to see what's left of the city. And one of the residents, lady by the name of Helen St. August, she's anti-superhero, anti-vigilante. She feels as if they destroyed her city recklessly. She's got to go to work in the morning. How's she going to get there? And I'm coming out with a book in August that picks up after the Street Team. Her name is Azon. That's the song with the mask off. Yes, and I'm proud to say that as a black person, I wanted to see more females. I wanted to see more characters of color, but not just that. She's female, and I wanted to have more females of color in the industry, and not just females of color, but a strong, independent character that they have to rely on sex appeal or running around with a bikini. As you can see, she's fully clothed. She's for me, the anti-superhero, female superhero. A lot of what you see in the comic book industry right now. I also incorporated a lot of stuff that's me and what I love. So she is Barbadian. That's my culture right there. She's into hip hop, graffiti, martial arts. I wanted to create a book that I would want to pick up. So for me, the future is doing your own thing, being independent and just creating what you love, and hopefully other people will love it too.
How hard was the independent process? How difficult do you think it was?
It was crazy. Of course, the biggest thing is sponsorship. Having to take time from doing work for other people to do your own thing. It's hard and it's time consuming, and it's tough because you're your own biggest critic. It's easy to take something and criticize it and be like, oh, that's whack. I would have done it this way. When it's your own thing, there's so many directions you could go. You never know exactly what to do. Me, I've always been a fan of having people be straight up with me. So I brought on a bunch of friends to let me know the truth of the character. So that's one of the hardest things. The second thing is, this is a business. You never know what's going to happen. Recently, I was involved in this legal entanglement where there was a guy that was accusing me of stealing the look of the character, and it was a whole big fiasco. Ended up then dropping the case.
Wow.
But it stalled the project for a while, and I was going through this bout of depression because something that was so close to me, to have someone to accuse you of something like that, and then not sure of what direction to go in, it's tough. So it's a lot of pitfalls when you're out here doing it yourself. but
Where can they find your comic online and video game?
right now you can hit me up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Pyroglyphics Studios. That's PYROGLYPHICS Studio. Sean Allen, you can hit me up on Facebook on there. Email pyroglyphics1@comcast.net. That's just the numeral. DeviantArt, pyroglyphics1.deviantart.com. You know, I'm everywhere. Just Google me.
All right, thanks.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm going to tell you about high fructose zombies. So, when a brand new candy bar called Snack Attack starts turning people into zombies in the small town of Sweet Tooth, it is up to Clea Brown and her ragtag group of friends to stop the evil Yumsy Corporation from raining down the sugar apocalypse.
And she uses her giant lollipop to decapitate and otherwise thwart the zombie hordes.
Sarah, my wife, is the artist, and I am the writer.
So, where'd you get the idea about the candy?
Well, the idea came from right now viruses and like cures are very popular for what causes zombieism. So the next step would absolutely be high fructose corn syrup because it's in everything. So you wouldn't be able to escape it, and it would absolutely cause apocalypse.
Tell us about the heroine in the comic.
I would love to. Clea Brown is Native American. We really wanted to make sure that there was a close tie-in because she phrased it well yesterday.
So it kind of is a play on the fact that Native Americans taught the colonists who first came over how to grow corn. So it's kind of the genesis of our corn production in this country, which went rampantly out of control and is now processed and put into everything. So that was kind of our tie-in there.
So, when did you get started?
We got started 3 days after our wedding, actually.
Oh, really?
Last July. A week before we got married, Sarah pulls me over and she's like, David, I really need to talk to you. And I was like, oh God.
We're going to talk about zombies.
She's like, I really want to make that comic book. And I was like, is that it? Oh, sure, I'd love to do that. So we got married. 3 days later, we start writing page 1, and she had already bought the book.
At New York Comic Con in October.
Wow.
So we went big.
And it was a very hard deadline. And so we wrote, drew, inked, lettered, got it printed, figured out how to do all of that.
And premiered it at New York Comic Con in 2012. And since then, we've done a couple cons. We have issue 2 with us here today, as well as issue 1. And issue 3, the opening of Yumsy Land, comes out in a month.
So how difficult was it to get published and get your comic book out?
We self-published. We created Poker Press to publish ourselves. And we did a Kickstarter when we launched the book. So that helped kind of, commit us to 6 issues over a year. And helped get us some startup capital. And we have also submitted it and been accepted by Comixology to be sold on their digital store. So that's kind of a huge benefit for self-publishers because it's a much wider audience. Yeah.
Okay. Where can they find your comic book online?
You can find it on our website.
Please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/highfructosezombies. You can also go to our website, highfructosezombies.com.
Yes. And soon you'll be able to go to Comixology and type in High Fructose Zombies and we'll be there.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Project?
Well, we've been working for about 3 years in Beyond Studios. We put together a project called Crimson Huntress, and it's basically kind of a gothic horror. I'm originally from New Orleans, so I went through Katrina and everything, and I wanted to kind of make a story about loss and how you rise above it, how you start fresh, how you start new. So it's set in a world where, you know, this main character named Ember is fighting these crazy monsters, and then you really go back into her childhood and learn how she got to that point. So how she becomes this great warrior.
So tell us more about the main character. What's her focus?
The main character, like I said, her name is Ember. She really was raised in a village that had a certain culture to it as far as being protective. They kind of all separate into walled cities. So in that they are very separated from one another, so each culture is very different. just to be protected from these creatures running around. So what happens is the wall falls at some point and she loses her parents. And from that she meets lots of different people along the way to be able to survive and just gets introduced to some interesting characters.
So how difficult was the independent process for you as far as publishing?
Yeah, I mean, self-publishing was difficult. Of course, the finances is the hardest part. We are interested in doing a Kickstarter, so that's been great that that option is available now. And, you know, I come from a technological background, so I work with a lot of people to do their websites and different kind of ways to kind of fund the project.
Are you selling this comic digitally?
Yes, we just last month implemented digital distribution on our website, neon.com, and you also can look forward to seeing us on like iTunes and Kindle within the next year or so. So,
how many issues do you have out so far?
Right now we actually have 2 issues. We kind of have a number 0, which was an introduction that we did a while back, and then we came up with the official number 1. Number 2 is in development.
So are you the sole creator, or do you have a team?
Yeah, I work with a team. I was actually the writer and original developer of Crimson Hunters, but I have a team of people that I work with, editors, other writers, give me ideas, work with other artists and that kind of stuff on some of the other projects that we have. Are you a local creator? Yeah, well, like I said, originally from New Orleans, but
okay.
I live on Long Island now, so we are New York based.
Okay. Can you tell us again where we can find your comic online?
Absolutely. The website is inbeyond.com, www.inbeyond.com.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah. Forget that.
Eric Hutchinson.
Thanks.